let's get more on the future of the mobile economy between China and Africa. We're joined by tech commentator and legal analyst Alexandria Williams. She joins us now in the studio. Great to have you, Alexandria. Well, let's start off with the fact that China's massive mobile market, it has 4G as the dominant mobile technology right now. 5G, of course, prospects are coming up every day, quite fast. Africa, on the other hand, has just seen 3G become the leading mobile tech this year in 2019. So where do you think China can help Africa sort of leapfrog when it comes to technology?
So interestingly, in the past, China has collaborated with Africa in the construction of Kenya's undersea cable that runs from the port of Mombasa all the way to the United Arab Emirates. And a lot of people in the tech space here in East Africa see the construction of that sea cable that led to connectivity for millions of people as the jumping off point for a lot of tech companies here. And then I think in the future, you'll see a lot of Chinese tech companies coming here to help bridge the gap between data and people by reducing the amount of data that people have to use. Africa is home to some of the highest data costs in the world, and Chinese tech companies in China are very good at creating software and hardware that allows people to reduce the amount of data that they use when they're on the internet. And we've seen how a Chinese company like Opera Mini is already doing that here, where they have this new in-app feature that allows people to transfer data and information without the use of 4G or Wi-Fi.
And you're quite right. Africa seems to be becoming a key player for Chinese tech companies and tech players. For example, Tecno, it sells more phones on the continent than it does than Samsung or Apple in Africa. Viskit is pretty interesting because it's become pretty popular in Nigeria, and it came to Africa, formed in Africa, had an Africa plan. So give us a sense, could Africa-focused tech become the future for Chinese developers going forward?
I absolutely think so. I was talking to an investor from China, and he said, if you came to China 30 years ago and you didn't understand what's going on, you've missed it. And I think a lot of Chinese investors, when they come to Africa, they see a similar story in what's going on here. 30 years ago, people did not think that A, China could develop its own native tech industry, and B, that tech industry could be profitable. And what China did have that people there were able to see is that they had high human capital, they had high literacy rates, and they had a high population. A lot of Chinese investors are seeing the same thing here, and they're ready to go and ready to invest.
All right. Now, many experts say that Africa's future, it will be shaped by technological advancement and, of course, innovation.
Yes.
Interesting question is, do you think China's advanced tech or local African innovation is going to drive that?
I think it will have to be a combination of the two. So I think in the past, a lot of Chinese tech companies would come here, do a period of research, and then start their own thing, much like Tecno did. But what a lot of people are doing now is they're combining with local tech companies, and they're saying, look, the industry is moving so fast here that we don't have time for market research. We must collaborate.
Well, thank you so much for that interesting discussion. Thank you for joining us in the studio today. That was Alexandria Williams. She's a tech commentator.